I've been hearing the word manifestation for quite some time now, at least over a year.
Popular at the moment.
Yeah, it's very popular. And some people are manifesting and they're living their dreams, but I don't think people really understand the substance or the mindset. What does it mean?
What does it mean?
Yeah,
it's a great word, isn't it? But what does the everyday person do?
Correct.
For me, manifestation is very much about dreaming that dream and then doing the thing. Like boiled down, that's what it is.
Okay.
So instead of, I think people are very good at going, I want to manifest $1 million. And then they move on to eating their breakfast and drinking their coffee and having their day. And it's like, where's my $1 million? It's not here yet.
Yes, I've
and you're like, I've said it now. Why is it not at my front door?
Let's Talk DXB. Real conversations by real people.
Deborah.
Hello.
I'm so excited to have you on Let's Talk DXB. So thank you very much for your time and for coming in.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Yeah. When we spoke, I literally put down the phone. I was like, this is an impressive story. Very strong-willed. The words that came out for me was success and manifestation. And even like the reality of life, the highs and lows, and how do you really make the most of it and learn from it as well. So I'm excited for selfishly for myself to really like tap into your journey and learn more about what you do in your business as well.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go.
Let's start. Well, I think we should start with you. And let's share a bit more about your journey before we go into the details.
Yeah. So life story. Basically, I started out as a fashion designer. Always lived the dream, wanted to be a fashion designer. It was my biggest, thing. And I set out into the world to be a fashion designer. I had no clue what I was doing. I did that for 7 years. Then I moved to Dubai with my partner at the time. And I relaunched the brand. I started again and I did it with a lot more understanding of business. I had a lot more success.
Yes.
I really understood and did lots of research into the target and all that type of thing. So it made it a lot more impactful as a business.
Yeah.
Then I set up a second business, a design consultancy.
Wow. Gosh.
It was B2B. And I ran that for 7 years. And then now I help other entrepreneurs build their businesses and help them build the dreams, basically.
Fantastic. So you've always had this kind of like self-starter drive then?
Yeah,
like,
I can't remember ever working for anyone else for more than, maybe maybe a year or a year or two. But I always had something on the side. Yeah.
I'm going to go into this because I think a lot of people listening and a lot of people that tune into Let's Talk, they're very much in a season of trying to do for themselves, discovering their purpose, really building themselves. But it's the fear, obviously. I can resonate with that a lot. But good for you for just kind of going for it as well.
Yeah. I always felt like working for, I think I'm great working for someone else because I've got passion and drive and I'll get up and do the thing. But I just always thought like, I think I can do this myself. Like I just want to go out and do it for myself, and I love working for myself. I love that we can do things like this and it's part of the job. And I can, when I had a fashion brand, it was like, all right, what would I love to do? All right, I'd love to have a collab with an overseas, like I'd love to go to the Maldives. Yeah. And I made a few phone calls, did a few things, and we had a collaboration with the St. Regis in the Maldives. I got flown there. I had my own private butler. Like I just spent like a week there, and I was like, this is my job. Literally, this is my job. This is it. And they stocked the collection in the St. Regis in the Maldives, stuff like that. Like I love that freedom to just think things and then make them happen. And you can only do that with your own business. But I really understand what it's like to be in a 9-to-5. I've done that. I have worked for design companies back in the UK.
Okay.
And be thinking, I just want to do my own thing. Like I just want it to be, I was a designer for Ghost in London.
Okay,
and some of the designs have made it comes up what designs make best. And some of them have made a fortune for the company. I just thought, I'm just going to do that for myself instead. Little did I know what it actually takes to build and scale a business.
Well, that's
which
another
is a different
thing,
story.
right? Yeah, because there's a lot of resilience needed in that as well. I can only imagine. Yeah.
It's a long journey, and I think there's a lot of this stuff on the internet now, which is like, build your business, become, make yourself a millionaire. Well, actually, but it takes time and it takes strategy. You can't just go out and just hope for the best. I think that if you think about it, like if you wanted to lose weight, what would you do? You'd be like, okay, I'll find a trainer or I'll get a nutritionist or something like that. Yeah. So people have a plan. Like they go, I can't just do it on my own. I'll go and find someone that's done it to help me. Yeah. But yet people start businesses and like, no, I can do this. It's fine. And they don't get, there's no plan. And it's like, even if they wanted to get a plan, they kind of put something roughly together and wing it. And it's like, these are the biggest decisions you're ever going to make. And these are the decisions that are going to change your future.
Correct. Yeah.
Let's put it down on paper. Let's try and get a plan.
Start from the foundations.
And learn from people that have already done the thing that you're trying to do. Like, just makes such a big difference. Something that took me ages to learn.
And I think that's the practical side, because we forget that as well. I think a lot of people, and I think because we are in a society where everything's quick wins, right? People are not very patient, the long game, or we don't really realize the long game that people have gone through to get to where they are now. So a lot of people just jump. Well, and I think that bravery is always needed, because you can very much stay in your comfort zone, but equally don't know the foundations of even how to go about it.
100%. And there's so many different elements. And what happens is, a lot of the time, a lot of my clients, people that I work with, they come with like the idea, they put loads of energy into their product, making it like this is going to be the best thing, but then selling it is a completely different story. And you have to learn those skills and the techniques of how to engage with the client, how to engage with the customer, and how to sell to them. And it's not a skill set that a lot of people have, especially if you're a creative and you're the creator of the product or the thing that you're doing, your service. Then it sometimes, and a lot of the time, it's really hard for people to go, okay, I'm going to go sell this now. And so what they do is they go out into the world and they say, hey, look at my thing, it's amazing. And the clients are like,
it's okay.
You're
not selling it.
And then they're like, oh no, it doesn't work. And then they hit a wall, and that's where it's like, right, we need a plan.
And that's completely right, because I think as well, even for me, like I'm very much in the creative sphere. I love content creation as well, but articulating the business goals and how to scale, and that's all a skill in itself, and that takes learning and refining and articulating in the right way.
Constant journey.
So we jumped in, but I think probably what's resonated from this is your goal and your willingness of manifestation. Because you talked about, want to be in the Maldives, I want to sell to St. Regis, I'm in the Maldives and I'm doing it. So let's step back a bit, because I've been hearing the word manifestation for quite some time now, at least over a year.
Popular at the moment.
Yeah, it's very popular. And some people are manifesting and they're living their dreams, but I don't think people really understand the substance or the mindset. What does it mean?
What does it mean?
Yeah,
it's a great word, isn't it? But what does the everyday person do?
Correct.
For me, manifestation is very much about dreaming that dream and then doing the thing. Like, boiled down, that's what it is.
Okay.
So instead of, I think people are very good at going, oh, I want to manifest $1 million. And then they move on to eating their breakfast and drinking their coffee and having their day. And it's like, oh, where's my $1 million? It's not here yet.
I've
and you're
said
like,
it.
I've said it now. Why is it not at my front door? Well, in actual fact, it's like, okay, so let's say you wanted $1 million this year, in the next 12 months. What does that mean? That means you need $83,000 every month for the next 12 months. Okay, so then once we've got a figure of what we need to make this month, let's ask ourselves better questions of how to get that money. So instead of saying, I want $1 million, and waiting for the manifestation train to come in, it's like, how am I going to make $83,000 a month every month for the next 12 months so I can make myself a millionaire? Then your brain is like, let me think. And it kicks in a better quality of question for you to answer for yourself. And this, for me, is the difference, is you just need to ask better questions of yourself. So once you ask that question, all right, do I have a business in place at the moment that has the scalability to hit $83,000 a month?
Got it.
Yes or no? Got it. If the answer is no, what's a good question you can ask? Okay, what do I need to do to make my product scalable? How do I need to reach? How many sales do I need to make that happen? Do I have big ticket offers? Do I have low ticket offers? Do I have my product? How many countries do I need it to be in? Like, once you start asking those questions, and then it's like, okay, now I know I need to be in 10 stores with my product. Now I know I need an online product that I can scale to get 100 people a month to buy into. So you've gone from, I want $1 million to, I just need 10 clients every month to make that money with my one high ticket offer, for example. And then it's like, right, how do we go about getting 10 people every month to sign up? And you just work back and distill it down into the thing that you need to do today and the thing that you need to do tomorrow. And then all you need to do is get up and do the thing.
No, I've never heard the word manifestation made so practical, to be honest, like really breaking it down. And it's simple. When you say 10 clients, I was like, okay, that's doable. And then thinking about how much you'd ideally need to charge those clients, doable.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Right? Because at the end of the day, and then, then there's an energy around that, I think. So that's the strategy behind it. But the special sauce is like, oh my God, the realization, I can actually do that. Oh, that's really doable. And then the energy you take to go and do the thing, you'll attract people into it because you go with so much energy. When I started this business, I had very particular goals in mind. I knew what I wanted to do. It was my third business. I'm like, right. And I went out into the world and it just the train was already moving because of the energy I was bringing with it. And, and then the people are getting on board a lot quicker because it's like, whoa, what's she doing? Oh, let's see.
I want to join this.
I want to be involved in this. And so that for me is manifesting. Boil it down, get to the thing you need to do today, tomorrow, next week, the week after, this month, this year, go and do the thing. And do it with energy and excitement and love and passion.
And that's important because I think mindset as well is really important because obviously we've just met now and I'm like, I'm feeding off your energy. I can tell you're excited, you enjoy what you do and it's working, it's successful for you as well. Yeah. But how have you trained your mindset? Because life happens, as I started with, and we'll go into a bit more of your story if that's okay. Because I think when you go through life and things don't seem to go as planned or it doesn't make sense or that reality seems so far off, it can be overwhelming. So that 100%. Even the practical steps to get to that goal, I think if you're not in that right mindset or if life has taken a turn, which it does, how do you push yourself through that? So I think through your journey, if you'll share a bit more about that, that would be really good to learn how you got yourself through this. And
my journey's been an interesting one. Mindset for me has been on my cards for the last, probably 20 years, to be perfectly honest. But it is something that I work with my clients because we live entirely in our minds. The world starts and ends entirely in our minds. And I love that because it's like whatever you can tell yourself you can do, you can. And whatever you tell yourself you can't do, you also. It's the same, right? It's like there's a Henry Ford saying, whether you tell yourself you can or you can't, you're right. Something like that. And it's true. And it's like we're only blocking ourselves. But life comes at us, like you say. And then we have to deal with other people that are in our lives and things like that. And I really, in my personal story, I really found the power of mindset. When I moved to Dubai, I was running my fashion label. It was doing well. It was going well. And I was in a relationship that just wasn't conducive to moving forward. So, as with most people in most relationships, you come to something that needs working through. You need to develop. You need to do, some work on yourself and as partners, and that for me wasn't happening. So we were kind of stuck in this cycle of not getting anywhere. Things weren't moving forward, and it was starting to weigh on me. It was starting to have some pressure on me as a person, me as an individual, me as a business, and then you're carrying that heaviness around with you. Then, right? And during that time, I was just kind of told, well, it's your problem. It's your fault. You go and deal with it. You need to go and do therapy. I was like, okay. So that's what I did.
You did? Yeah, thanks. Okay.
And so I worked through a lot of those things that were holding me back in sessions. Again, I went to get help, and I'm a big advocate for going to get help in whatever area you need at that time in your life. So if you need help, support emotionally, then go and see someone. Like if you need it physically, go and get a trainer. If you need it business, finance, go and get a coach. Like I have spent so much time in therapy to help me like put aside some of the struggles in life and then work through these close relationships. And I really do feel like you're the sum of the people you spend your time with.
Oh, yes.
And so I found myself in this relationship and being, having this kind of psychological warfare almost, and I couldn't get out of it. I couldn't find myself within this relationship. We didn't have children and I just knew that if I was going to succeed, that something had to change, and I had to make really big decisions. And so, at the end of the day, I just knew that this was detrimental, and I tried everything that I possibly could. And so I had to step out of that relationship, that marriage actually, to be able to move forward, because I knew that in my mind, I was never going to be able to do the things that I wanted to do and achieve while still dealing with this chaos in my personal life. Like, how can you do it? Like now I know how much I need that sanctuary in my personal life so that my goals, I can just get on with them.
So important.
It's really important. And I was held back quite a lot just by spending so much brain power on trying to fix that relationship. And a good friend at the time said to me, you've only got 10 credits in a day. If you think about your mind like that, you've got 10 credits in a day. If you're spending 6 of them trying to battle or trying to make a relationship better or trying to just be yourself and thinking with your own mind and not someone telling you what you have to be like, then you've only got 4 left to make your business work or to have a happy life or to find joy. Anyway, as soon as I stepped out, I was like, this is the right decision for me. I made more money that month than I'd made that year.
Wow. So powerful as well, because obviously I've gone through divorce as well. And I think a lot of people probably couldn't understand how I came to that conclusion. Probably I knew it for a while. I think when you're in the relationship what it is, but the decision to move forward and get divorced so quickly really shocked people. But I think, again, it's more about in yourself, like every fiber in me was like, this is not healthy for me, and I'm not living my best life or really feel it being fulfilled, or it's draining me or killing me internally, that I needed to leave.
That's a battle. That it really is a battle. And it take you know it in your heart, you know it in your deep in your gut. And I think, listening to your gut in any area of your life is gonna, the people you spend time with, the people you go into business with, the moves, every move you make, if you won't be far wrong if you listen to yourself. And it's the same thing if you're in the wrong relationship, but people don't break out of those relationships because they don't know what's on the other side of that. And I get it, it's really scary.
It's scary.
But I just thought, if I stay, this relation, I'm going to die of stress from this relationship.
Wow,
like I can't. The pain of being in it was much greater than leaving. So yeah, that was all mindset work. How am I gonna make the move to go and get it done? Yeah.
That is a very strong mindset. So I resonate with that a lot as well. And just because you're having to start over, I think it's, I've been on a journey this past year of definitely rebuilding therapy. I'm a big advocate of 100%. As well, really identifying myself, my flaws, habits that I've had that I've probably brushed over, that I can, really trying to be the best version of myself as well. So I completely get that self-work and investing in people that can help you, because
100%,
you can't do everything by yourself either.
Absolutely not. It's a journey with others, isn't it? And especially when things like pointing out your blind spots. So like, again, personal or in business, someone to kind of reflect back and say, okay, well, maybe this, you should have thought about this, or how we're going to work through this. Super valuable. Like,
what did that rebuilding season look like for you? So you've left your relationship, you made a great amount of money, so you're ready in terms of like your business. What did that journey look like in terms of starting over, and both personal and in your business as well?
I think I was just so ready for it happening really quickly. Like you said, I'd signed a 6-figure contract at that time, so I was ready to go. And I just reformatted my life, basically. I realised that I need to spend time with people that boost me up, and I've got that vision, and I really spent time just doing that, being around the right people. I was doing my design consultancy at the time. I grew my team. I opened an office. My first office, this was just before COVID, or 18 months before COVID. So I opened an office, like really living the dream. Absolutely went for it. So yeah, it was I for the first time, I felt like I was really able just to step into knowing who I was and what I want to do and what I want to build. And think that's where I kind of thought, now I can think about anything that I want to do and just go about doing it. So let's try. Right?
Let's just try.
So that's when we did. So that's when I won an award for London Fashion Week. And I thought, wouldn't it be great to go on a private jet to London Fashion Week? This will make a great story. So I called a few friends and whatever, and I got booked. They sent me on a private jet to London Fashion Week.
Deborah, I need some of this energy. I just love how, do you know what? Because I think it's always about, I did a conversation with, he's an executive producer, but in music. So he's worked with some like big labels. And he's like, just be delusional. Like, I know it seems even scary, but sometimes you need a little bit of that with the practicality that you've articulated to just be able to go for these dreams. But I think that scares people as well.
It's just the energy you bring with it. If you're doing it, like if I'd have tried to do some of these things from where I was before, carrying that heavy energy, I wouldn't have been able to do it as well. Whereas when I knew I was fully in my presence, I was fully like me, I was radiating that energy of what I wanted to do, and now I'm free. I can do whatever I want. That was the energy I brought. So I probably brought that energy to that phone call. And this guy was like, yeah, cool, I'm in. Like, yeah, that sounds good. Okay. And so it happened.
Amazing.
So I think it's a lot about the energy you bring.
No, I think that's so important. And what you tell yourself and who you surround yourself with as well. I think that's really important. And you're supporting others now to kind of help live their dreams and be practical around how do they scale or build a business idea. So what does that look like in the day-to-day? How are you supporting other like businesses?
Other women, So I do that through 2 ways. One is through one-to-one coaching. So I have clients that kind of, a lot of international ones that have maybe already built their business and want to bring it here, and like I can help them do that in the region. And then I do that with women who are kind of starting out or have already been in business like 18 months, that kind of thing, and have got a little bit of a grasp on what they're doing, but need to kind of move it forward. And I do that through a 10-week online version. More accessible, easier for them to buy into, and they get support for 10 weeks, which is
amazing.
Where we work on mindset, we work on the vision, and those things are like the fundamentals. Like, okay, if I can help you change your mindset, this is not about a 10-week course. This is how you can change your life forever.
It's a whole lifestyle change. Yeah, for sure.
And what we work on is like what's happening daily. So if what I get people to do is, if you think about what you're saying to yourself on a daily basis, a lot of people, actually, when I first did this, I did it with Positive Intelligence in the US.
Yeah.
And so they start to ask you to write down the things that you think, and you're like, ooh, I didn't know I was thinking that. Yeah. And then after like 3 days, you're like, oh my God, look at this list of things that I've said to myself. I wouldn't say this to anybody else.
The negativity.
Yeah. And it's like, this is holding you back. If you look at this list of things, if you switch these round to be positive things, imagine how much quicker you could get to where you want to go. And a lot of the time, it's the things that we're saying to ourselves. And when people come to me and they're like, I don't know if this is going to work, it's like, let's ask ourselves better questions. Write down what you're saying to yourself and let's switch the narrative so that you're your biggest cheerleader. You're the one that can get it done.
Yes.
And then when people come to you with negativity, you'll be like, no, I don't, not in an arrogant kind of way, but in a way of like, this is where I'm going, babe. Yes. This is what's happening, you know, like it or not, this is where I'm going.
Yes,
So just because they don't see your vision doesn't mean it can't happen.
It's so true. And that self-belief is very important.
It's a building block. You can't do it without it. Trust me, 20 years later, you cannot do it without the mindset to get it done. Because you'll just end up beating yourself up, telling yourself you're not doing enough, comparing yourself to others, like not feeling good enough. Is my idea going to work?
Yes.
You know, all these things are the things very normally people ask themselves when they go and start. I'm putting too much money into this. And it's like, okay, first we can start with the mindset and then I can show you the roadmap of how to get from there to here. But I can't do that if your mind's not in the right place. So that's what we work on first. And then I show them the roadmap of the proven strategy that I've used over and over again.
And it works. So that's fantastic.
And it works.
Yeah. And I think it's, like you said, it's important to learn from people that have actually done it. You know, you can see the journey they've been on themselves because that's 100%. The best way to learn.
Yeah.
That's
and
fantastic.
to always, spend time with people that are ahead of you, that are that have done the thing that you want to do, because you'll be constantly looking at, oh my God, that's the next thing. And it's when I ask people, whether they feel like they've succeeded or not, and it's like, look at the journey more than look at where you started and look where you are now.
Very true.
Not like, have you achieved X, Y, Z? Because the X, Y, Z will always be something else that you've added.
You're never going to get
another house, another Ferrari, another whatever. So what about the journey? Wherever you come from and where are you now and where are you going? Like, rather than defining yourself by one thing that happens.
Correct. Yeah, I think that's so important.
Yeah.
You're a very busy lady. And I think for me, what resonates as well is about, because you're a mother. So, a lot of people ask, how are you working full time? You've just started Let's Talk. It's like 7 months old as well. And you're a single mum. I'm a single mum here. But just balancing it all as well. Because I do give myself, there's some days I give myself 1,000 excuses where I'm not going to do Let's Talk anymore. I'm so busy. I'm tired. And my son. But then how do you push through that as well? Yeah, because it's difficult.
100%. Very, very good question, and a lot of people struggle with this. And I hate this hustle culture thing where it's like everyone's got to do the thing and you never sleep when you're dead and all this. Right. No, I'm not into it. I'm not having it. It's not how I want to live my life. Yes. And I'm pretty sure every mother that's got, kids can't. You just can't. Like, it's not possible. So what I did to counteract that when I had my son was that I trained in health coaching and I trained in mindset. So again, huge mindset shift when I had my son to be able to do the thing whilst having a baby to deal with. You've got a whole human to look after. Like, it's hard. Crazy. Then making sure that I'm eating well and sleeping well. So I've got a whole rhythm section laid out for like how I eat and how I sleep.
Amazing.
To make sure that I get enough sleep so that I can get up in the day and do the things that I need to do, including looking after my son.
Wow.
Further to that, I make sure that I have the people that I surround myself with. I've got a really good nanny.
Gold.
Gold
Literally gold.
She's really good. I trust her.
Good.
He's in a good school.
Yes, fantastic.
And then my husband, he works for himself as well, so we need to understand the support system there. And that's just about conversations and having a plan of who's doing what when. Because he knows what I'm doing and I know what he's doing, and then so that support system's really important. Getting the sleep is my number one.
We both have toddlers. I was like, sleep, and for me, sleep is so important. I can't function, so I've always been that boring boring mum routine because I know 100%. I need that evening time, and maybe even to just do a bit more work, so I know he's rested well and I can have an hour or two and then I can sleep early
100%,
as well.
Yeah.
So I'm
all
a
about
big
structure,
advocate of that.
I think. Making sure that you've got time for yourself in the day.
Yeah.
Like recently I did a program with a lady named Sally Morris, and it was all like health and fitness and stuff. And she was just like, I don't want you to walk in the morning. And I was like, oh,
what time?
How am I gonna squeeze that in? And so anyway, so I was like, okay, let's try this. And oh my God, what a game changer. So I do, like now I'm pushing 10,000 steps every day.
What?
But it's 30, 40 minutes in the morning, 34 minutes at night, and I bookend my day with it.
Amazing.
And it's such a big game changer. And it gives me that space to not have to work, to just close the day down or start the day up.
Yep.
And again, really simple. Back that on with some quiet time that I don't need to like work before bed, and then getting really good sleep. Amazing. And then in the day I can just like go for it.
Yeah, go for it and be really productive.
But build those things that really like feed your soul, like sitting down, having good lunch, spending some time with my son, because I don't want to be, just killing it all day, every day. So building those bits of joy into what I'm doing, that's a longevity success strategy, because I'm not like before. When I was younger, I would just work 15 hours a day and not get any sleep and just be burnt out. I burnt out so many times. That's not my strategy here. My strategy here is to be a well-rounded individual that's well slept, so that I can deal with when he has a tantrum, and I can also deal with when something goes wrong in the business, and do it with balance. So the way that I do that is it sounds really boring, but it's really straightforward. I plan it. I just plan it. I don't wing it. I just be like, this is what I want to do and this is how I'm going to go about doing it. And if that's about getting more downtime in my brain, I plan that in. So after 8 p.m, I don't use my phone. I close my laptop and I have an hour and a half before I go to bed. Last night it was bubbles and bath, and I threw a beer in there as well. Like, why not? I've chucked a beer in on top. Like, 'cause it felt like it, that kind of day. And I spent that hour in the bath, just doing nothing. Just digesting, and then I'm ready to go on the next day.
Yeah. It definitely takes a village, because when you're talking, 100%. I was like, and this is something I need to get better at, asking for help and know where to get the right help from as well, because you just can't do it all by yourself.
No.
And I think
you deserve it. You deserve to have help. So I think, if you're going to hire someone to look after your son, it's a hire at the end of the day. So are they doing the job right? And if they're not, let's figure it out so we can make it everyone's happy. So that I don't like it if he's not done anything all day, for example, and he's in the house and he's like chucking things around. I'm like, okay, what's the plan for the afternoon, so that he doesn't like launch a pillow out the window and then start.
They just want to escape and just
exactly. Like he's going to start getting disrupted.
Exactly.
So now she's like, okay, and then she's got his set of friends and they go for play dates, and it's like there's a structure in place.
But what's resonating as well is discipline, because all that you're saying, it takes a lot of discipline to be able to even just have the conversations, to structure yourself, have the right support, balance out the discipline of balancing out work and being a mum and being a wife. I think that takes a lot in itself as well. So
you've just distilled it down to the key component. The vision is there, but it's the habits that make it happen. So it doesn't matter what you want to achieve. It's the habits that you do every single day. Like I said, like once you figured it out and you know what you've got to do, it's just getting up and doing it. Right. So if I know that I want to lose 5 kg, okay, well, what do I need to do? I need to move more. I need to eat less. I need to use the tracker on my app. I need to, just do the things. And getting yourself to do that every day. And so what I do to make that more impactful is I make the outcome important to me. So in terms of the vision of what I'm building for this particular business, my vision was quite a few years ago now, I want to be in 3 different countries. I want to have like a hub in 3 different countries. I want one in a cold place, like they've got a log fire and some snow. I want one tropical, and then one nice and warm, like Mediterranean-ish. And the reason I want that is because I want my son to speak different languages. I want him to be to be able to understand and go into different cultures. I want us to live a life that's not 50 degrees all the time in the summer. I want another option. And so I'm doing that for something that means a lot to me. I'm building a life for him, and I want to show him how you can build a business that works for you. You don't have to kill yourself, go to burnout. You can run a successful business and move around the world and use it as a game. It's fun, right? And I want to teach that to him, so therefore I have to live it. Amazing. So what motivates me in the morning is not I need to go up and go for my 10k walk this morning. It's like, what am I building? I need to get up and go for a walk. because that is going to
goal.
help me with my mindset today. It's going to help me with my fitness, my health, and that's going to help me do the next thing on my list.
Yeah.
So it's just really small, like bringing it down to just the next thing you need to do.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of entrepreneurs get so overwhelmed with all the things
that they need to do.
Yeah, and it's like make the most important thing and then build a strategy for it and work backwards.
And then just step by step, isn't it?
Get on it. Get it done.
I love it because, it's also when you talk about your son as well, because you're showing him a different way of living. For me, I've always been raised in you work hard, you get your education, you work hard, you find a good job, corporate job, you work like crazy in that corporate job and you use your salary well and you save, etc. So I'm having to train my mind outside of that narrative and it's really hard. I mean, I'm 37. I'm like, well, this is what I've been told. This is what I've been told. This is what I've been doing. This is what's worked for me as well in the kind of safety net that I have as well. So I think that even, being able to articulate to your son from such a young age that life can come in so many different dynamics. So don't be scared to explore that.
I think that's a generational. I think our parents,
for sure,
that's what they did. And my husband comes from a background where it's like get an education, get a job, do the thing, and then put the money in the bank, buy a house, like have kids. It's like it's that, and that's it, really.
Yes.
I just had the benefit of my mum and dad worked really hard. I watched them work really hard, and I had the benefit though of my mum who was like, go and do whatever it is you want to do. Amazing. I was never told like go be a doctor or go and be, a lot of the. Earlier I used to teach at the university and a lot of the students would tell me, oh, my mum and dad don't want me to do this degree. It was fashion at the time. But they want me to be a doctor, they want me to be a this and that. And what happens is everyone goes and they can become a doctor and then they get 15 years in and they're like, I hate this.
My life is just not what I want it to be.
And it's like, we have to live in alignment with ourselves. We have to do the thing. Look, life is so long and work is like 40 hours a week, 50 hours a week. It's such a long time. It's such a chunk of our lives. Let's do the thing that we love doing so that we can so that we live longer because we're happy,
feel fulfilled.
Let's not spend it doing, it's just such a valuable commodity to have. Let's not waste it on things we don't love doing. And I think that's the thing that was instilled in me from a really young age is go and do the thing that you love to do. And I've done that for a really long time. And I was saying to my husband the other day, I look back on my 20 years and I've loved every minute of it. I've gone and done the thing and it's not been easy. I'm not going to say it's not been easy. You have to battle that mental battle of like, okay, but look at them. They've got a full-time job and they've got this car and I'm like over here trying to build an empire.
Correct.
And it's like, while you're in that build mode, it might not feel great.
Yes.
But you have to know in yourself that, okay, but I love what I do every day.
This is it.
And I do. I could spend all day working if I didn't have some boundaries.
I can feel that energy, for sure. I can feel that you definitely just enjoying the passions there.
Yeah, and I just love that. And I think that's how we should live. And so many women that come to work with me are in that position. I've had a job, I don't like it, or I've quit and I've gone and had kids.
Yeah.
And then now I want to do something that I actually has passion and that I really want to do in life. And I'm like, yes, let's do it. Let's go.
And it's fulfilling as well because you're paying it forward. I think for me, I'm a big believer of, if I can help someone or if my skill set or, my experience can help someone. That was 100%. A big part of Let's Talk as well. First, it was very much self-healing and working through the divorce, but being very authentic and I guess self-critical as well about that journey. And now I'm in a season of rebuilding myself and really pushing myself into what I want to do. I think people have gravitated to that, like, oh, you've gone through something really difficult, but you've survived it and now you're thriving through it. They would say that. I'm still figuring it out. Yeah. So I think me being able just to give that is like fulfilling.
It's inspiration to people. I mean, it's hard to go through a relationship and then get divorced.
Oh, it's like grieving.
It's not a fun journey to go through. But I just kind of think same thing. Like, well, I'm not going to spend my time stuck in a relationship. I'm trying to my issue was I was always trying to make it work. Right. And like I said, 10 credits in the day I'm using trying to make it work. I didn't have the extra left over for myself. Yeah. And so there's a lot of learning there for me about what I need, the boundaries that I need to put in place of how to look after myself and not just be like okay with things that I really wasn't okay with,
Yeah. You've literally said the word that I was going to ask, boundaries. Yeah. Because I'm trying to get better at setting those boundaries in terms of, knowing what's healthy for me, who I want to put into my space, consume my energy, because it's limited, stretching myself very much. How have you set those boundaries over these 20 years? Because it's a journey as well, I think, to really know kind of, I'm going to accept this, or I want this circle of friends, or my community needs to look a certain way. How have you really identified those those boundaries?
I think it's just been, I felt my way through it. I don't know if I've really done it consciously.
Yeah.
I've just kind of known that something feels right. Again, I trust my gut.
Yeah,
I kind of go with what feels right. And the biggest one is that marriage. Like if I can say, after a while, I knew that this wasn't right for me anymore. And so I had to do something about it. Same with circle of friends, or maybe a job that you've got, or something like that. If you're stuck, and it's like, you kind of just know, if you're tuned into yourself enough, and I think there's a skill in listening to what your body's saying.
Very important.
So, making sure that you're listening to your gut feeling, and then making a decision based on that, and trusting yourself, and knowing that you know best for yourself.
Very true.
And then you can put the logic behind it.
Yes.
Okay, how do I feel after I spend time with these people? If you come away and you feel down, is this the best use of time? Like if I'm trying to build a business and I'm spending X amount a week on social media, is that the best use of my time? Could I, if I was doing strategy implementation, would I get further?
Yes.
Like what, I think a lot, me and my husband did a lot around this, around what we consume.
Oh, right.
So
yes.
very much about what we eat, even the water we drink, is it in a plastic bottle? Is it I'm one of those people.
Yeah.
So what we consume on social media, so we don't have the apps on the phone, we do, after a certain time at night, we have no media. So because it has to be, that for me is the biggest boundary, is that little device and how it takes over your life and interferes with the other things that are important, like your kids, like your friendships, and it's like, I don't want to spend time with friends and be sitting on a phone. It's just, no.
You want to have those meaningful conversations and presence.
Yeah. So how do we make sure that doesn't happen? And, the small things like that, switch it off, switch the, airplane mode, whatever you need to do.
Yeah.
Those boundaries. So it depends on what your most important boundary is. For me, it was making sure that I spend time in the day with my son, and therefore not wasting time doing anything, so that when he comes home, I'm available and I can shut off, and I can, and then I used to switch my phone off and leave it in the office so that I'm not distracted, and I can be more present, be in the moment. And it feels so much better. It feels so much better to do that thing rather than try to do it and then be on your phone
kind
and
of be there and not.
It's
right. And again, it's all about the discipline of your time in the day and how you
changes.
That is fantastic.
Small changes.
Deborah, I've literally so when I'm going to listen to this back probably every day, once this goes live, I'm like, that you've helped so many people, and you're just living proof. I've literally just absorbed your energy around how you're passionate about what you do, and how you really, this is what I want to achieve, so I'm going to do it. It's fantastic.
Yeah. It's a game. We get to play. Just play. I think a lot of it can just be much more lighthearted
than what we make
what we make of it. I know we have to make money and we have to feed our kids and all that stuff. But if we bring the energy of fun and playfulness, it will come. The things that we want will come.
Love it.
If we're working from a place of fear, I need to do this, I need to do that, you're not asking yourself the right questions. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much.
And
I'm wishing you so much more success, and because you're great, and just helping others as well. So that's fantastic.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming.
Thanks.
Let's Talk DXB. Real conversations by real people.